competition. It's divided into two main phases qualifying in the race. All of you will be split in equally or almost equally qualifying groups where you will have to push to the limit to get the best time possible. Now let's talk about how to get inside the simulator. Go on the right side and put your left hand on the seat and put your left leg inside the simulator. Then, just slide inside. Remember to put your thumbs inside the steering wheel and do not remove your hands while steering. To put the reverse gear, even if you are driving in automatic, press and release the left paddle until you see the R in the gear indicator. To put again the first gear, press 2 times the right paddle. Now about the pedals. On the right you have the throttle, while on the left there is the brake. The brake pedal is relying on a pressure sensor, so it doesn't move and it's quite hard. You can see how much you are pressing the pedals on the bottom right of the middle screen. Regarding the steering wheel, pit button, press it to go from the pit menu to the track once the sessions have started. Traction control switch, rotate to activate and deactivate the traction control. ABS switch, rotate to activate and deactivate the ABS. Brake bias encoder, rotate it to change the brake bias. Plus button to change between manual and automatic gear shift. Minus button to activate and deactivate the ideal line on the track. DRS button to activate and deactivate DRS. Regarding the behavior while you are driving, a race director is monitoring every time the sessions. In case of infraction of the rules, the race director will assign penalties, inspect opponents, and avoid contacts. Hitting an opponent will imply a time increment at the end of the race. That may lead to a position change. Push to the limit, but don't ruin your own and others' race. During qualify, if you go out of track, the lap will be invalidated and it will not be counted. During the race, if you go out of track, you will receive a penalty that has to be cleared before the end of the lap. It can be a slowdown period, where you will have to not press the throttle pedal, or a slowdown under a specific speed. The amount of time increment is the sole decision of the race director. Here are some general suggestions on how to approach the driving. Stay focused, anticipate your opponent's moves, and maintain a balance between aggression and caution. Remember that no race was won on the first turn, but many races were lost on the first turn.
Okay guys, let me just have a quick chat with everybody before we get in the sims. I don't know if I need to use the microphone. Okay, everybody, so qualifying is now underway for round 18 of the VRS. We are on the final stretch now. From now until the end, we have 6 races left, including today's, and all 6 races are in a row for the next 6 weeks, back to back. On Thursday, we will have the final stretch. I was going to say it's coming up with Abdul Hadi was on the pole position, I think the only one with a valid lap so far in the Red Bull car, but Leo Fadi now shoots to the top of the times with a 1:32.6. After the Donker gets a valid lap in with a 33.5, just 1 second off, and there's Andre Fisch with his first attempt up with a 1:34.2. And now it's up to Emil, Essa, Karim, Daniel, Ahmed and Lucas to set a valid time. Daniel goes up into 5th. There's 10 minutes remaining. A few laps on the way. Uh, 32.6 is going to be tricky to beat. It's already pretty close to the limit from your current championship leader. Then jumps up into 2nd place, just half a second off, and Leo Fadi drops to 32.4. Marine in the Mercedes goes for a bit of a spin on his first outing in the VRS. Let's see what more Fadi can do. He's already up on his time. It's a 32.4 so far. He's aiming for 32.2. Only 2 drivers into the 32 so far. Still 4 drivers yet to set a time. But 8 minutes left for those drivers to do so. That's Karim in the Mercedes, Emil in the Ferrari, Ahmed in the Alpine, and Lucas in the Williams. it's getting closer at the top as we see a few drivers exploring the grass in that third sector. Lucas has got a time on the board, not representative of his pace, but at least he's got the time on there, which bumps him up into P8. Next up on his list will be Daniel in the Alpine, as we see Ahmed and a Ferrari here side by side onto the main straight as they start a lap. I think that is Essa and Ahmed. Essa only half a second away from Fadi's time. He's finding out that the curbs can be very slippery through that first sector. And Arta Dodonka 0.7 away now in the McLaren. top of the field then with 8 seconds remaining until the checkered flag. So Leonard Faddy stays on pole with a 1:32.4 so far, but Essa Al Hamadi gets within 0.3 of a second, and Abdul Hadi up in P3 within half a second also. Emil Nasser sets a time in the end, just 0.6 away, with Arta Dodonka 0.7 off. And Andre Fish in the top 6, 1.6 seconds back. So the top 5 within a second, and Daniel only 1/10 away from Andre Fish. Lucas in the end down now with only 3 seconds to go till pole. Kareem did get a valid time in P9, and Ahmed Sabri still just going over those track limits and not quite getting a valid lap. Showing that Esso is actually on a very good lap, but I'm not sure if it's valid or not. He's still in the green at the moment. As he comes round the final corner, Esso Al Hamadi, he does it! He takes the fastest lap at the end with a 1:32.3, so it was up, but it was valid. 0.026 ahead of Leonard Faddy. So it's Essa Al Hamadi then on pole. Leo, I think, also up as he comes round the final turn. It's not over until it's over. He goes round the final corner but loses time on the exit, and he can't do it. So we have Essa Al Hamadi on pole. It was a 32.5 for Leo on that last lap attempt. And how is that? Very, very close. 26 thousandths between your top 2. Less than a second between your top 5. Tell us Arthur, what are you saying?
I just got blocked on the last corner.
How much are we up by? 5 seconds? 2/10. Wow. We've got a sprint race now to start in the middle of. We'll be right back with you folks on the stream and in the building. Couple minutes break, and then we'll head straight into the sprint race. Okay, everybody, it is time to make our way down. We've had our little break and it is time for the sprint race followed by the main race. So after the sprint, do not get out of the sims, stay where you are and we'll go straight into the main race. The sprint race will be 3 laps and I think the main race is 10, but it might be 9, I cannot remember. My memory is getting bad in my old age. So Essa Al-Hamadi and Leo Fadi on row 1. Abdul Hadi and Emil Nasser on the second row, with Arthur Dodonko and Andre Thish on row 3. Daniel Lucas on row 4 and Kareem and Ahmed rounding off the field in row 5. Okay, and away they go, and it's a great start for the Williams then, who goes through the Alpine and the Mercedes, but who's going to break for turn one? The latest door, the Ferrari down the inside across the corner and up into third place. That will have to be given back, whoever that was. Let's see if we can find out who that is currently in third, or we can re-watch it. Backs out of the move with the Alpine. I think it might be Al-Hamadi who cut the corner and went straight up to the front of the field as one of the Ferrari spins. Okay, so here's Essa Al-Hamadi who cut turn one and getting the few positions. I think we saw Leo spin on the curb in the background there. And we were already starting to settle out in the reverse sprint race. So Lucas leads from Essa, and Emil is currently in third. Daniel in the Alpine is holding on to fourth place, with Andre Fish currently in fifth. Arthur Donka in sixth, just behind. Now Hadi in the Red Bull though swoops round is outside. Arthur Donka on the inside. Still there's contact between them. Dodonka is round. Now continues on his way. Okay, so we're on board with the leader then. Essa Al-Hamadi goes up into the lead past Lucas in the Williams. Emil is up there in P3 also. And at least this has given drivers a chance on their first few laps to experience what cold tyres might be like on the curbs. We saw Leo make a very rare mistake by himself as he spun on the curb through the S's. And now he's down in 7th place. This race might be too short for him to capitalise on. Andre Fish goes a little bit wide, and look at Emil Nasser now closing in. This is Emil Nasser now closing in on the fast left. There's going to be one lap left after this. That's Al-Mahdi leading, likely a 5-second. It's only a sprint race, so no points involved, but likely a 5-second penalty for the start. But Emil Nasser, VRS open down the main straight, down towards turn 1, moves up to second. The Williams tries coming back down the inside. Lucas did get it done on the brakes, got P2 back. And Abdul Hadi closing in on the both with Andre Fisch chasing down. In 4th place, Abdul Hadi. Oh, lost the rear, did Lucas in the Williams, and Emil goes through up into P2 then. Abdul Hadi up into P3. Andre is now fighting for a sprint race podium. Down the hill they go, he's got one more DRS zone. I'm not sure he's close enough. It all depends on this braking zone here. He's 3/10, so he should get the DRS open. It's a nice long straight. And I think even with the 5-second penalty now, Essa might still take the victory in this scenario, although it's closing down now. It all depends on when they cross the line, what the gap will be. As Andre comes through the final turn, so he didn't get close enough with the DRS with Andre Fisch. He's right behind Abdul Hadi as they come through the fast right. There's no real overtaking opportunities left before the finish line, as it's quite a short run to the line, but keep an eye on the gap between Essa and Emil as they come across the line. Essa Al-Hamadi crosses with a checkered flag here, Emil doing just over it, 5.2 seconds behind. A great race nonetheless. Abdul Hadi in 3rd, Andre Fisch 4th, Daniel in the Alpine up in 5th, with Lucas 6th in the end after the spin, and Leo 7th also after a spin. Kareem and Ahmed in 8th and 9th, and then Arta Dodonka after 3 spins down in 10th place. Okay, so in confirmation that it is a 10-lap race. Essa in the front row with Leonard Fadi. Ferrari lockout in Texas. And away they go, the lights are out. A great start for the Red Bull in third place of Abdul Hadi, and it looks like Leonard's going to have to defend also from Emil, who goes down the inside and goes for a move in P1 but spins. He went to risk it all for the lead but couldn't quite pull it off. Esser Al-Hamadi takes the lead, Abdul Hadi in second, and Leonard Fadi then survives and holds on to P3. Arta Dodonka in P4 in the McLaren, now coming through the S's right behind the championship leader in the Ferrari. Now look, Abdul Hadi chasing down Esser onto the back straight. And the Red Bull VRS not activated on this lap, but on the next lap it will be. But he's got the toe as he goes down towards the next tight left of Leonard Fadi, just behind also the McLaren of Arta Dodonka. So we've got a four-way fight currently. Abdul Hadi defends into the next right-hander from the championship leader. A great little move, and now the right Ferrari is on the right-hand side. But can Abdul Hadi keep it down the inside? Couldn't quite get it done. And Leonard Fadi moves up into P2, and now can chase down Esser just up the road. But it's a great start from your top three. Arta Dodonka still watching up ahead as he tries to close in the gap between your top three. McLaren getting a little bit twitchy through the fast left. Got Lucas fighting in the Williams in P7. Esser Al-Hamadi sets the fastest lap. The gap is currently 1 second then as he crosses the line. A strong start indeed. Into the left-hander, down the hill now then, through the sweeping right and into the S's. Let's see how this goes. I think Lucas is closing in also on the Alpine in P6 as he looks for a move through the S's, but we're watching Leonard Fadi on your screen. Abdul Hadi gets a good view of the fight, gets a bit of understeer through here. This is the tricky corner. So as they go up the hill through the left, and he's off. I think is that Esser Al-Hamadi, or is that just my eyes? Someone went off, or it might just be lag. Did anyone else see that, or is my eyes going crazy? I'm sure I saw a Ferrari go into the wall, but they are all still on track, luckily. Esser still leads, Leonard Fadi still in second, and Abdul Hadi still in third. Arta Dodonka in P4. Daniel holding on to P5 with Lucas closing him down, who's now in P6. Andre Fisch not far behind, just within the second, and Emil is now back up into P8 after risking it all after a fantastic start, nearly taking the lead from P5, I think, or P4, sorry, to P1. Just a little bit of contact with the last car. Maybe a little bit greedy trying to get 3 positions in one instead of just the 2, but it was pretty much done. This is Andre Fisch then on your screens with the Williams and the Alpine just in front. Lucas chasing down Daniel, who's currently P5. This is Leonard Fadi now within 6 tenths and 2 tenths quicker on the last lap than Esser Al-Hamadi, who is currently leading. Abdul Hadi still within 1.5 seconds behind. Look how hard Leonard is on the brakes as he closes in the braking zone, but the exit that Esser gets evens it out a little bit. Abdul Hadi in the Red Bull just a little bit far back to capitalise at the moment, unless there's contact from your top 2 in the Ferraris, who are going through the S section now. Arta Dodonka still right here, and the Ferraris, you can just see them up the road, into the tight right, into the left. Loses the wheel as Esser through that left-hander, but manages to get a good exit nonetheless. Down and watching Leonard on the brakes here, hard on the brakes, gets it turned in, little bit of a lock-up, and now he's got a long straight down towards the next left-hander, and he will have DRS for good measure. DRS already open, it's a nice long straight. Esser's going to move slowly towards the inside to defend. I think though he's back on the racing line, not close enough this time for Fadi, even with DRS open, but he did close in. Lucas moves up into P5. And Andre moves up into P6, both passing the Alpine of Daniel on that straight with the DRS. So, on board with Leo once again, through the fast right, second to last corner, coming up a nice fast left. Andre Fisch, the sort of battle is continuing. Oh, there's contact with the Alpine. Andre Fisch drops back down to P7, and Daniel holds on up in P6 as Leonard sets the fastest lap. Just by, well, not by much, to be honest. I couldn't do the maths quick enough in my head, but we're talking 100th of a second, and Abdul Hadi took it Also closing in now 1.5 seconds. Okay, so the top three as is. Daniel still fighting with Andre Fisch and Lucas in the Ferrari and the Williams. Emil looking to close in on the next two drivers. Also, the Williams is off a little bit through that tricky section of the S's, and Andre Fisch swoops around the outside and gets P5. That was risky and very, very close, but he did just manage to do it. And now Lucas will be in DRS range on this main straight. He'll open the wing pretty early. You'll see it open now. He's going to have a great tow down this straight. So Lucas in the Williams with DRS open, chasing down Andre for P5. Oh, that was a late move from both of them, to be honest. A little bit of a reaction from Andre Fisch there. That will thoroughly be watched again after the race, and it cannot happen more than once, that is for sure. As Lucas committed to the inside, you just saw Andre dart to the inside, and Daniel is definitely still within a chance of this fight for P5. Essa takes the fastest lap for the 33.0. Leonard Faddy in second place, still just within DRS range as these guys come through the final turn. And now they're going to go and enter the S section. Essa Al-Hamadi's made the halfway stage. Halfway through the race then, round 18, lap 5 out of 10. 5 races to go after this one for the next 5 weeks. Every Thursday night, and Daniel a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1, gets passed by Lucas again in P6, and Emil is now right on the tail of this group of 4. He's only 2 tenths behind. Here's Emil in the Ferrari then, who's now in for a chance for another 3 positions if he can just focus forward and hunt these guys down, keep it together through this S section. And now he's going to go down the hill in towards the tight left-hander. As I can see, oh, Leonard late on the brakes, goes way off the track, straight on, misses the corner, went for a real late attempt on Essa Al-Hamadi there. And it will be watched again for sure. That was a hell of a dive from God knows how far back. We'll watch to see if he closed the gap. I think the gap is about the same, to be honest. As Al-Hamadi now a couple seconds back. And Arthur Dodonka also a couple seconds off at the moment. Lucas still fighting. Ferrari Andre Fisch as he shoots down the inside. There's contact there. And this is going to be all good news for Daniel and Emil, who is waiting for anyone to spin just up the road. They're right behind this fight. Lucas is going to have to try again, as they both run a little bit wide there on that fast left. Now Lucas will have DRS down towards turn 1. McLaren of Arthur Dodonka still hunting down the Red Bull of Abdul Hadi. But keep an eye on Lucas with his DRS open. Didn't quite make it to the braking zone. And this is the best view from Daniel's Alpine. Just watching for people to create an opportunity. The gap is coming down between Leonard and Essa. I think that's just normal braking zone changes as they go onto the back straight. Essa gets another good exit. And I think Leo might be out of the DRS range now after that later lunge. But look at Lucas round the outside of the Ferrari onto the main straight. Can he keep it on the track? He was forced off a little bit there. And now watch Daniel. He's going to come through with DRS on both of them. And potentially a better exit than both of them. Is it going to be free wide? They can't pick which direction to go. The Alpine doesn't know whether to pick left or right. And late on the brakes goes the Ferrari. The Alpine tries to come through as well. There's contact. And Lucas survives and comes through, as does Emil. Moves up into P5 and 6. Andre tags from behind from the Alpine of Daniel. And spun him round. That one will have to be analysed properly, as there was all sorts going on in that little 4-car fight. In the end, after Lucas being forced off and moved over on, he did come out the winner and avoided the spinning car of Andre Fisch. But look at Emil Nasser now as they enter the final turn. Chasing Lucas for a P5 finish. He's going to have DRS open. Is he going to have a look down the inside of turn 1? Yes, easily does it with the DRS open. Emil Nasser then back up into P5. but now Lucas gets a switchback, and he's got the move back. We've seen this a couple of times this season. Lucas and Emil find themselves on circuit, and now they're probably going to have a tight race to the finish. Swapping every DRS zone they can, waiting for the other to make a mistake. And this, honestly, is one of the trickiest corners on the circuit. Just those last little S's as they go through the left-right. Hard on the brakes into the left-hander. VRS should open for Emil. This is your lead fight. Leonard Faddy and Essa Al-Hamadi still going at it here at Kota. The Texas Grand Prix. Ooh, a little bit of a fake move from Emil there to try and force Lucas to defend. Getting offline, ruin his exit a little bit. And there's an example of a slide after touching one of the curbs. Takes a nice line into that left as Leo sets the fastest lap, which is back into the 32s. It's late on the brakes into turn 1. And he's now firmly back within DRS range of Essa Al-Hamadi then. Just needs to stay as close as he can through the S's, into the left, into the right, into the left again, and now into the tricky right. Watch the rear ends through here, are they going to slide? Oh, a little bit of a slide from Leo on the exit, and the gap is back to 1.5. Hard on the brakes, he's been very good on the brakes all race, has Leo. And then back with Emil then, into the fast right, into the left. And again, through the uphill, tricky right left. Takes a nice line on entry, bounces a little bit wide, takes a good line through the left. Look at the exit the Williams gets down the hill. We're on lap 8 of 10 already. And now look at Emil trying to close in. Still within DRS range, the Ferrari versus the Williams. Just needs to close in another couple of tenths to enter an overtaking opportunity in the braking zone. Essa takes the fastest lap. They're swapping. The Ferrari's at the front. Swapping blow after blow, fastest lap after fastest lap. Into the S's. Make the move into turn 1, but look how close he is through the S section. He's definitely close enough for DRS on the next straight. There's not really an overtaking opportunity through this zone, unless one of the other cars slides. He's taken a nice line through here, into the right, into the left, but watch the look, Lucas does it again, a great exit out of that left-hander. Emil within 0.7 of a second into the braking zone. Another quick look at the gap from the top two. DRS open for Emil Nasser as he chases down Lucas into the braking zone again. Makes a nice wide line into this corner. Has a quick look down the inside. He's late on the brakes. Emil Nasser, a great move down the inside for sector 3, goes up into P5, no DRS needed. Very opportunistic from the young Ferrari driver, and honestly didn't expect it to be pulled off. With props to Lucas as well for giving him room and seeing the move coming, but a great overtake attempt from Emil Nasser there, who goes back up into P5, and now on the last lap needs to try and pull away from the Williams driver, who is within DRS range. The leader is on the final lap, Essa Al-Hamadi, on his final go round with Leonard Faddy 2 seconds behind currently as they go down the hill into the left-hander in the final DRS zone coming up. look at the McLaren of Arta Dodonko, who's been trying to hunt down Abdul Hadi in the Red Bull in third. But at the moment, the gap has stayed pretty similar throughout the race since the start. And now, the leaders entering sector 3 as P10 has spun out in that sector. So let's have a look at your leaders as they come round the circuit. Are they going to get through safely? I think they do pass P10 safely. And P9 also coming up as they come round the final corner. And S. Al-Hamadi then, after 10 laps of leading, crosses the line and takes victory at Texas with Leonard Faddy not far behind, 1.2 seconds. And Abdul Hadi in the Red Bull will come across the line in third place with Arta Dodonko in the McLaren in fourth. And a great comeback drive for this man, Emil Nasser, who's been fighting with Lucas once again this whole race as he climbed his way back up through the field into the final turn. And Emil's going to bring it home in P5 with Lucas crossing the line in P6. Andre Fisch P7 currently under threat from the Alpine of Daniel in P8, Kareem in P9, and Ahmed Sadri rounding off to 10 in P10. Okay guys, I'll be right with you. Just going to re-watch a couple of the parts and then I'll come down and do the medals. For fun this whole time, I forgot we were streaming. Hello everybody on YouTube and the venue. My bad. So, on to the top 3. USA down, round 18. 5 more races to go every week for the next 5 weeks. And it was a good race. Some very close fights in the top 5 specifically. In 3rd place, with a round of applause to Red Bull driver Abdul Hadi. In 2nd place, your current championship leader, round of applause for Ferrari driver Leonard Ferry. And your winner for today, the other Ferrari driver, making it a Ferrari 1-2, who's probably not going to let Leo forget that he's done it with a broken hand. Round of applause for Essa Al-Hamadi. Congratulations, sir. Well done. Well done. Well done. That is your top 3 podium, everybody. Give them a round of applause for the United States VRS. I've been told, I haven't fact checked it, but I've been told they're all American hats. Leo, didn't you win a race earlier in the season with a broken hand as well? You did? This is the season of broken hands for everybody, okay. Anyone who wants to know the secret for race wins, there it is. Thank you guys. If you want to come out and do the fuel picture, and I'll see you next week. What round is it next week? Round 19, what track next week? Mexico! Big straight next week. You ready? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Vamos, adiós. Buenas noches. See you next week.